Okay, let's go, bruh. How every infamous pirate died. Let's go.
Blackbeard. Blackbeard wasn't just a pirate. He was a walking nightmare. He'd braid his massive black beard into pigtails with colored ribbons, and before battle he'd tuck lit fuses under his hat, so smoke curled around his face like a demon from hell. The crazy thing is it worked. There's no verified account of him ever killing a captain.
That's kind of aura, nigga. Yo, pirates are low-key aura, and that nigga had fuses in his beard and like that. That's kind of aura, bruh. Teach.
Like a demon from hell. The crazy thing is it worked. There's no verified account of him ever killing a captive. He didn't need to. At his peak, he commanded the Queen Anne's Revenge, a 40-gun warship with 300 men.
Guns?
He once blockaded Charleston for a week, holding prominent citizens hostage until they paid. For 2 years, he was untouchable. But in November 1718, his luck ran out. Virginia's governor sent Lieutenant Maynard to hunt him at Ocracoke Island. But Blackbeard didn't run. He grabbed a glass of wine and shouted, "Nation, seize my soul if I give you quarters or take any from you." He unleashed a broadside, killing a third of Maynard's men. Thinking he'd won, he boarded to finish them. But Maynard had hidden his crew below deck. They burst out, and 6 brutal minutes of chaos followed.
Boarded they shit trying to loot they shit the whole time. They still there though, bro. That's tough.
Blackbeard took 5 gunshots and 20 sword cuts and kept fighting. A Highlander finally slashed his neck from behind. The second swing took...
This nigga Blackbeard went out like Whitebeard, bro. This nigga got jumped. They jumped that. That's tough, bro.
His head clean off. Maynard hung that head from his bowsprit. They mounted it on a pole at Chesapeake Bay, where it rotted for years. His body was thrown overboard, and legend says it swam 3 laps around the ship before sinking. Later, his skull was turned into a silver-lined drinking cup used in taverns for decades. But Blackbeard wasn't the only pirate whose death became a public spectacle. Captain Kidd.
Had the kid. So y'all think that that Blackbeard death, that's how it was gonna happen in One Piece and shit like those? One Piece would never cut somebody's head off though. They probably have before, but like not no major character I think got their head cut off and then like died, I think. Right? Except like, you know, a nigga who got executed obviously and shit like those.
Captain Kidd might be the most famous pirate in history. There's just one problem. He probably wasn't a pirate at all. In 1695, King William III personally commissioned Kidd to hunt down pirates in the Indian Ocean. He was a respected New York ship captain and wealthy property owner. The crown called him trusty and well-beloved, but his voyage was a disaster. A third of his crew died from disease. His men turned mutinous. Under pressure, he seized a ship called the Quedo Merchant, keeping the French passes that proved it was a legal wartime capture. By the time he returned, England needed a scapegoat. His powerful sponsors betrayed him. Governor Bellamont lured him to Boston with promises of a pardon, then had him arrested. Kidd spent 2 years in Newgate Prison. His trial lasted just 2 days. The French passes mysteriously vanished. The only witnesses were mutinous crewmen who got pardons for their testimony. On May 23rd,
got snitched on. And snitched on you, bro. His life was terrible.
1701, they brought him to the gallows completely drunk. Someone had taken pity and given him enough alcohol to barely stand. They put the noose around his neck and dropped him, but the rope snapped. The crowd shouted it was a sign from God, but they ignored them and hanged him again. Then they...
This life was... Holy... This life is terrible, bro. So he got backstabbed. Half his crew died from disease. He got backstabbed. He got snitched on by his own crew after getting backstabbed. He got drunk into a whole stupor, bro, and still was living after it. Got hung. The noose broke. He said it must be a sign from God. Nah, hang that again, bro. Get that out of here, though. That's tough, bro. That's tough. He was known as the unluckiest pirate. That life sucks, bro.
The crowd shouted it was a sign from God, but they ignored them and hanged him again. Then they coated his corpse in tar, locked it in an iron cage, and hung it over the Thames where it rotted for 3 years. Treasure hunters have searched for Kidd's buried gold for 3 centuries, but they've never found it because it probably never existed. Francois L'Olonnais.
Captain Kidd is like those, bro. Not beating the fraud allegations in real life or in One Piece of stuff.
If you think Blackbeard was scary, you've never heard of Francois L'Olonnais.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
The Spanish called him the Bane of Spain, and their sailors would rather sink with their ship than surrender to him. L'Olonnais arrived in the Caribbean as an indentured servant. The Spanish worked him half to death. Once free, he swore to return the favor. Early in his career, soldiers ambushed his crew and killed everyone. L'Olonnais survived by covering himself in blood and hiding among the corpses. But eventually, he got his revenge. After capturing a Spanish ship, he personally beheaded the entire crew, except one. That survivor carried a message to Havana. I shall never give quarter to any Spaniard whatsoever. L'Olonnais was a master torturer.
What? Is shit quiet? It's quiet.
He'd slice never beheaded the entire. He got his revenge. After capturing a Spanish ship, he personally beheaded the entire crew, except one. That survivor carried a message to Havana. I shall never give quarter to any Spaniard whatsoever. L'Ollonais was a master torturer. He'd slice flesh off victims piece by piece. He'd tie rope around their heads and twist until their eyes popped out. He even burned people alive for fun.
That nigga was a savage. I'm not gonna hold though, bro. Bro killed an entire crew and kept one alive just to send a message, bro.
In 1667, while ambushed near San Pedro, he captured 2 Spanish soldiers. He drew his cutlass, cut open one man's chest, ripped out his beating heart, and bit into it like a wolf.
Avocados from Mexico.
Ew.
Then he told the survivor, I will serve you all alike if you don't show me another way. But in 1669, karma caught up. His ship ran aground near Panama, and he was captured by the Kuna tribe. They did to him what he'd done to so many others. They tore him apart limb by limb while still alive, threw each piece into the fire, and scattered his ashes so no trace would remain.
Wow.
Edward Lowe.
They wanted that sponge from the world, though, bro. They exorcised that.
Edward Lowe was so cruel that even other pirates called him a maniac. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle described him as a man of amazing and grotesque brutality. Lowe started as a Boston shiprigger with a wife and daughter. When his wife died in childbirth, something inside him snapped. He became a pirate in 1721 and terrorized both sides of the Atlantic, capturing over 100 ships. His creativity and torture was legendary. When a French cook annoyed him, Lowe burned the entire ship with the man tied to the mast, saying he would fry well. But his most infamous act came in 1723. A Portuguese captain dropped 11,000 gold coins into the sea rather than surrender them. Lowe flew into a rage. He slashed off the captain's lips with his cutlass, had them grilled, and forced the man to eat them while still hot. Then he murdered the entire crew. Lowe's savage...
Yo, these pirates were like evil people, bro. I'm not like, no, none of them had moral compasses, bro. They probably had like actual compasses, but no moral compass. I'm not gonna lie, cutting the nigga's own lips off, filleting that shit and making him eat it, bro. Sick work.
Surgery eventually became too much, even for pirates. His own crew voted him out and set him adrift with just 2 men in a small boat.
I would not want to be the 2 men in the same boat with that, bro.
Water. A French ship found them half dead and brought Lowe to Martinique. When authorities discovered who he was, they hanged him before he could speak. Some say he escaped and was spotted years later as a Spanish gunner. Either way, the seas were safer without him. Stede Bonnet. Stede Bonnet proves that money can't buy everything, including a successful pirate career. In 1717, Bonnet was living the dream in Barbados. He owned a 400-acre sugar plantation, had a wife and 4 children, and was one of the wealthiest men on the island. Then one day, he simply walked away from all of it to become a pirate.
Deadbeat ass dad, dragon. What the? Well, I guess Dragon's not a pirate, but you know, walking away from the family type shit. God damn, nigga, you walk away from your kids. Nigga said Yasop, that's more like it, nigga. God. Man.
Nobody knows why. Some say he was escaping a nagging wife. Others believe he had a mental breakdown. Whatever the reason, his approach
gave up a luxurious life to become a pirate. What the
was bizarre. Instead of stealing a ship like every other pirate, Bonnet bought one. He hired a crew and paid them fixed wages. There was just one problem. He had no idea how to sail.
This nigga's a fake demon, bro. You're paying, bro's like paying them to be on his crew, bro.
His inexperience made him a joke. When he met Blackbeard, the legendary pirate essentially took him prisoner on his own ship.
Damn.
Later, Blackbeard betrayed him completely, stealing all their loot and marooning Bonnet's crew. Bonnet returned to piracy, but was captured after a bloody 6-hour battle on the Cape Fear River. He escaped prison, but was quickly recaptured. At his execution on December 10, 1718, the gentleman pirate was a broken man. He wrote desperate letters begging for mercy, offering to become the...
Nah, gang, you just like... This is sad, yeah. You should have just stayed with your wife and kids, bro. Yeah, he's a geek, I'm not gonna lie.
Governor's servant. Witnesses said he clutched a bouquet of flowers as he walked to the gallows, weeping and pleading. The execution was delayed 7 times because Charleston women pitied him. But pity wasn't enough. They hanged him anyway and buried him in the marsh. Black Caesar. Black Caesar went from African chief to slave to one of the most feared pirates in the Florida Keys. According to legend, Caesar was a powerful tribal leader in West Africa. He evaded slave traders for years until one captain tricked him with a gold watch, promising greater treasures aboard his ship. Once Caesar and his warriors were on board, the ship quietly sailed away. By the time
Name the video again, how every infamous pirate died.
they realized it was too late. During the voyage, Caesar refused to eat. He would have died if not for a sailor who befriended him. When a hurricane destroyed the ship near Florida, these two escaped on a longboat as the only survivors. Now free, they became pirates. They'd pose as shipwrecked sailors, wait for a ship to offer help, then rob it at gunpoint. They buried treasure on Elliott Key, but their partnership ended when both men wanted the same woman from a captured ship. Caesar killed his only friend in a duel.
Wow.
He built an empire in the Florida Keys. He kept a harem
That's why that nigga's name is Caesar. Close that back door, bro. It just all makes sense.
of 100 kidnapped women and a prison camp for hostages. When he left on raids, he
Well, I guess with Caesar, the opposite kind of happened. But, it all relates.
often forgot to leave food. Many starved to death. Eventually, Caesar joined Blackbeard's crew. When Blackbeard was cornered by the Royal Navy in 1718, he gave Caesar one final order: to blow up the ship if they lost. Caesar stood in the powder room with a lit match, ready to kill everyone. Two prisoners tackled him just before he could light the powder.
Fuck?
They dragged him to Williamsburg and hanged him in chains.
Bro, trying
The
to do
man
some
who'd been
Pedro.
slave ship ended his life swinging from a rope on the same coast where he'd once been free. William
Yeah,
Fly.
everybody got hung in this video, bro. Straight. I think every single person has gotten hung, bro.
William Fly had one of the
William
shortest
Fly looked
pirate
like a
careers
pussy.
in history, just 3 months. But his death is considered the true end of the golden age of piracy. In April 1726, Fly signed on as boatswain aboard the Elizabeth, bound for West Africa. He clashed constantly with Captain Green over the brutal treatment of the crew.
Roger, I was just
On
about
May
to say.
27th,
Hold on.
at 1 in the morning,
Maybe he's tough.
Fly led a mutiny. They dragged the captain from his bed and threw him overboard. Green grabbed a rope in
Nigga
desperation.
said straw hat. Nigga, that is not no straw. That did not put in no work, bro. He was a trade for 3 months, bro. That is not the straw hat.
One of Fly's men chopped off his hand with an axe. The crew sewed a Jolly Roger, renamed the ship Fame's Revenge, and elected Fly captain. For 2 months, they raided ships off New England. But Fly made a fatal mistake. He sent most of his loyal men to capture a prize, leaving himself with just 3 pirates guarding 15 prisoners. The captives overpowered them and sailed to Boston. At his trial, Fly showed no remorse. Cotton Mather tried to save his soul, but Fly refused. On July the 12th, 1726, he walked to the gallows, smiling at the crowd. When he examined the noose, he even criticized the hangman for doing a poor job. Then he retied the knot himself and placed it around his own neck. They hanged him and put his body in an iron cage at the harbor entrance.
So wouldn't that technically be suicide, gang, at that point? That's kind of tough, though. Is that Aura chat? Was that Aura? Yo, people know how to hang this, my nigga. What the fuck? This not how you hang it. This is how you hang it. God damn. That's kind of.
Some pirates begged for mercy, while William Fly fixed his own noose. Olivier Levasseur. Olivier Levasseur committed the single greatest heist in pirate history. Almost 300 years later, no one has found the treasure. Born in Calais,
So that means the treasure is still there. Interesting.
Born in Calais to a wealthy family, Levasseur was educated, became an architect, then a privateer for King Louis XIV. When the war ended, France ordered him home, but he became a pirate instead. A battle wound slowly blinded one eye, so he started wearing a black eye patch, helping create the image of the pirate we still picture today. On April 26, 1721, Levasseur spotted the Portuguese galleon Nossa Senhora do Cabo, anchored off Reunion Island. She carried the Bishop of Goa, the Viceroy of Portugal, and 10 years of accumulated treasure. But a storm had damaged her so badly the crew threw all 72 cannons overboard just to stay afloat, completely defenseless. The pirates didn't fire a single shot. They walked aboard and took everything: gold bars, diamonds, silk, pearls, and the fiery cross of Goa, solid gold encrusted with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds.
God
So
damn.
heavy it took 3 men to carry. When they divided the loot, each pirate received 42 diamonds plus the equivalent of
Yo, niggas was up, bro. Niggas was up. What the
millions in gold. For 9 years, Levasseur hid. But then they caught him. On July 7th, 1730, he stood on the scaffold, noose waiting. According to legend, he threw a coded message into the crowd and shouted, "Find my treasure, the one who may understand." They dropped him at 5 o'clock.
Oh shit. Yo, the One Piece is real. What the bro? Yo, I'm not gonna like it. That just geek though, bro. That just geek. Oh, go back, man.
Noose waiting. According to legend, he threw a coded message into the crowd and shouted, "Find my treasure, the one who may understand it." They dropped him at 5 o'clock. The cryptogram has never been solved.
Yeah, that shit tough, nigga. That shit tough. Yo, pirates are really cool. I'm not gonna lie. Pirates is kind of fire. Pirates is kind of fire, bro. That was a good video. I ain't gonna lie. That was a fire video, bro. So we're gonna put this on the live channel. If you're watching this on the live channel, Twitch, Blue Rye in the description. Come to the stream, though. But yeah, all right, BBG.